Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has made it known that he won't be playing favorites when it comes to his drivers, despite Max Verstappen being widely recognized as the face of the team. Will his position on the matter affect his relationship with Verstappen? I know you're dying to get the inside scoop, so I won't delay the video any further. Let's talk about it. By declining to anoint Max Verstappen as Red Bull's primary driver, Christian Horner has potentially incurred the Dutchman's displeasure. The situation between Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez is becoming increasingly strained, and Horner intends to provide both drivers with equal opportunities to vie for the Drivers' Championship. When asked about the possibility of implementing team orders, Horner stated, "It's round 2. We've got two very mature drivers. They've worked together, and they've worked well together. Previously, we just discussed the race and this scenario before the race and said, look, you're free to race today, but the rules of engagement are team first and respect each other. Respect the cars you're driving. We want to bring the maximum points, and they've done that." Despite the issue being resolved in the previous season, the dynamic between Verstappen and Perez remains cold after the incident that occurred during the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Perez yielded to Verstappen to let him overtake, but believed he would be able to regain his position if Verstappen was unable to make any significant progress. However, Verstappen was unable to secure 6th place, and this led to Perez's frustration and anger toward his teammate, with Perez commenting that the incident revealed Verstappen's true character. Verstappen was determined to justify his choices and referred to the qualifying round in Monaco when Perez's accident hindered Verstappen's chances of starting the race ahead of his teammate. After the race in Brazil concluded, Verstappen made a disdainful comment. I don't need to say where it was. In the last moments of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, Perez raised concerns about being instructed to drive at a slower pace than Verstappen. However, Horner has since attempted to clear up the situation and emphasized that there is no issue between the two drivers. Of course, the team's interest is to maximize the points, and whatever point you feel that you may have a reliability issue, then you obviously manage that. Inevitably, Max said on the radio that the point for the fastest lap meant a great deal to him, and there was no reason for us not to let either he or Checo have a crack at it. Christian Horner cautioned his Red Bull team to avoid becoming complacent, as unforeseen technical regulations could have a significant impact on the competition. Despite their early triumphs, Horner, the team principal, expressed to iNews that they should not become overly confident. There is always something, always a technical directive that drops, a game changer. You can guarantee that the others will be scheming. How can we slow them down? It's part of the game. Having lived through it before you become more seasoned in how to ride it out. In the previous year, there was a significant overhaul of the technical regulations. While most teams have now adopted Red Bull's proposed aerodynamic approach, there are still 3 distinct strategies, with Mercedes and Ferrari being at the forefront of different alternatives. Despite Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff acknowledging the necessity for radical change, the zero-pod concept appears to be on its way out. Nevertheless, Horner admitted to having initial concerns that Red Bull had overlooked something significant when Mercedes unveiled their car for the previous season. Horner added, "The expectation coming into 22 with the biggest chassis regulation change in probably 30 years was actually pretty modest. Mercedes turned up with a car that looked unlike any other. And you think, have we missed the target here? They have seen something in the regulations that we haven't. Is this going to embarrass us?" In an effort to break the 12-year drought for Red Bull at the Australian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen has implored the team to remain honest and consistent. Since Sebastian Vettel's win in 2011, the team has not achieved a victory at Albert Park, with Verstappen's personal best result being 3rd place in his 6 appearances at the circuit. Despite the previous struggles at the Australian Grand Prix, there is cause for optimism, as Red Bull has been dominant in the first 2 races of the current season. Although Max Verstappen had to settle for 2nd place in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix after starting from 15th on the grid, he won the Bahrain season opener, finishing 12 seconds ahead of teammate Sergio Perez. Verstappen said, "I'm looking forward to going to Australia again. It's always nice to be there and experience Melbourne a little. Although, from a racing point of view, it is not one that has been too kind to us over the years. The track is great with some high-speed corners and one I enjoy driving, so hopefully we can have a good race this weekend. We just need it to be straightforward and consistent. We haven't won there as a team since 2011, so let's see what we can do." According to former F1 team principal Eddie Jordan, Max Verstappen was attempting to save his reputation by fabricating the return of the driveshaft problem that caused him to end his qualifying lap behind his teammate Sergio Perez in Saudi Arabia. After experiencing a driveshaft malfunction during Q2 in Jeddah, Max Verstappen began the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from 15th place on the starting grid. Despite this setback, he managed to climb back through the field and secure second place in the race, but was unable to close the gap on his Red Bull teammate in the final stages. Max Verstappen was able to snatch the bonus point for the fastest lap from his teammate Sergio Perez on the final lap of the Jeddah Corniche circuit, which irritated the Mexican driver. However, Perez was able to maintain a safe distance from the two-time world champion in the closing stages of the race. During the race, Max Verstappen reported a vibration in his RB19 to his team over the radio, which was similar to the one he had experienced during qualifying. Despite driving faster than the time delta provided to him by his race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase, Sergio Perez was able to keep up with Verstappen's lap times. According to Eddie Jordan, since Sergio Perez had the advantage of track position and had taken pole position in Verstappen's absence during qualifying, Verstappen may have been instructed to hold his position behind his teammate and not try to catch up to him. Jordan also added that he would have done the same if he were in Christian Horner's position, having owned a team himself. On the Formula for Success podcast, he said, "I think that Max concocted something about a drive shaft so as to make himself look good. Because I'm absolutely convinced he was told before he went out, if Checo was leading the race and he's been on pole position, you have not got ability and you have not got permission to pass him." That's just my view, because if I was running a team, that is exactly what I would have said before they went out. You don't have to be Einstein to work it out. Max, in my opinion, found a decent excuse, which was the drive shaft. Christian Horner comes out and tells us, no matter what we did, we went back to the base, we went and looked at all of the data and we looked at everything, we couldn't find anything. Guys, come on, there's enough in this to realize that we don't want to be bullshit. This was a situation where Max managed the position to hold his face while still taking second place. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez are scheduled to race at the upcoming Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne this weekend. Verstappen will be aiming for better results compared to his previous visit, where he had to retire from the race, while Perez secured a second-place finish behind Charles Leclerc. Where will they end up when it's all said and done? Let us know down in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.